Bingo!
I'm your huckleberry.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing another Turkish pistol out to check out. This is my cousin's Sar Usa Sar9 Mete or Met or Meat, whatever the hell you want to pronounce, M-E-T-E. He's had this thing for the better part of a year now, got about 800 rounds through it, and he finally let me borrow it to do a review. Now, I do have the range here on my property, so this is where this thing gets shot. So I have firsthand experience with the gun, shooting it, watching him shoot it, and I have a pretty good general idea of how many rounds are through it. So I feel comfortable bringing it to you guys and giving you my honest opinion of it. We're going to go over all the specs and features and what I'm looking at here. Then we're going to go out to the range and shoot it for ourselves, and we'll see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So it is a 9mm. I would say this is somewhere between a mid-size and a full-size. It's not quite as big as a Glock 17, but it is a little bigger than a Glock 19. It does have a 17-round metal-bodied magazine. I was looking for some kind of manufacturer. I'm not sure who's making these mags, if it's Mecgar or somebody else, but 17-round mags are pretty decent. It is an interesting design on top here. I would say it's milled out for an optic, but it's actually not milled. There is no recess cut out for the optic, but it is tapped, so you can run a RMSC footprint optic on it. And as you can see, he is running the Siley Cat at my recommendation. He asked me for a solid budget red dot. That's the one I recommended. Typically, I would say go with the Cat Pro, but in this particular instance, this gun doesn't have a recess, so we wanted something that's a little narrower. The Cat Pro I'd prefer because it does have the side load battery, but it also makes a taller profile, so when you're mounting it on top of the slide like this, it would be even higher if it had a side load battery compartment. But let's go ahead and take a look at internals. It breaks down exactly the same way a Glock does. Recoil spring, barrel, everything looks pretty normal. So no major concerns there. It is a striker-fired handgun. I'm not sure if it is compatible with any like Glock parts. It's very similar internals, but again, I don't think it's actually compatible with like Glock internals. I'll do some research, and if I find out I'm wrong, I'll let you guys know. Trigger pull, not bad on it actually. So it's got a little bit of a gritty take up, but once you find your wall, a little bit of a rolling break, but not too bad. Sort of like a Glock, more like a Glock than a Canic. Let me pull out the trigger scale here, and we'll see what the trigger break actually comes in at. All right. Let's go ahead and take our Wheeler trigger pull gauge. And let's see. The shape of the trigger makes it kind of awkward. All right, there we go. Breaking just under 5.5 pounds. We'll go ahead and do 3 pulls and figure out an average. That was 6.25 pounds. So it may be dependent upon exactly where you pull. Let's try again, see if we can get a better. Okay, that was a little better. That was 5 pounds, and I'm going to do one more just to see if that 6 was a fluke. I may have been pulling on a weird point in the trigger there. This thing is super awkward to line up for the trigger scale. That one was 7. So kind of inconsistent if I'm being honest. There we go. We're right on the bottom of the trigger. That should be a good pull. 5 pounds. I'm going to say it's probably about a 5.5 pound pull. I think the 6 and 7 is just because of the weird angle on the trigger, trying to get the trigger scale itself to grab the safety plunger and make a consistent pull is a little difficult. So we'll say a 5.5 pound trigger to 6 pounds. 17 round capacity. It does have a side mount safety, which is, you know, it's whatever. I feel like it's overkill, but it probably had to be put on there for like importation. But that's it, guys. I think it's a pretty good looking pistol. I think these things are coming in just under $300. And it seems to be a pretty solid contender for a budget option. So that's a good look at it. Let's go ahead and take this thing out to the range and see how it shoots. There's the sight picture. Now that optic is on. Maybe I cut it off. Okay, it's on now. Alright, so the optic is on. See if you guys can see that. Absolutely no chance that you're going to co-witness this thing because of how high the optic has to sit over the iron sights. But not everything has to co-witness, I guess. Let's take it out to the range and shoot it. See you guys there in a moment. Alright guys, so right here on the range we've got the Sar USA Sar9. Got the magazine loaded up. Let's go ahead and see how this thing runs. Safety. All right. First thoughts. Well, it's not my first thoughts. I've shot the gun before. But first thoughts shooting today, the trigger pull is definitely noticeable. It is not a super light break. It's kind of heavy. It's a long pull. But it shoots okay. It's pretty accurate. Let's go ahead and load some more up. I'll fast forward through this so you don't have to suffer. All right, we got another mag loaded up. Let's see how this one runs. Not bad. I mean, it runs good. Just not a big fan of that trigger. Also, if I'm being honest, I'm not a real big fan of how high the optic is sitting on the slide of that pistol. For close to $300, I mean, you could kind of get a PSA dagger that's already milled. That's probably what I'd recommend if we're being honest. If you already got a dagger, you want to try something a little different. This is not a bad gun. I just feel like there are better options out there for the money. This is unusual because I usually love all the Turkish pistols. And while this one's okay, it's certainly acceptable. It's passable. If it's what you got, hey, it'll work. I don't think I'd buy one. All right, here's the last of the ammo I brought. Let's go ahead and put this through it. See if this thing will make a connection at distance. We'll try 75 yards. Alright, so it made one. Honestly, I noticed it's hitting pretty far to the right. I was aiming at that center target. So I didn't put this on paper. I just took word for it from the person who owns the gun. But it does seem like it might be a little bit off to the right. I'm just going to go ahead and stick to 25 and we'll finish this out. Alright. So that's 3 mags through the Sar USA SAR9. Overall impressions, I think it's okay. For a budget gun, it's not really terrible. It does function. The one complaint my cousin had with it is that he doesn't like that the mag release is so sensitive. And I will say, if you barely touch it, it does shoot that mag out of there. He said it has been a bit of a problem when he's carrying. If he bumps into something and hits that mag release, the mag tends to shoot out. So a stiffer mag release spring might actually be in order here. I wish it had a better trigger. I feel like if this gun had a better trigger and an actual optics cut, it would be a winner. But because it doesn't, you can't really co-witness the sights. The trigger is not great by any means. I mean, 6-pound trigger pull. It's definitely noticeable out here at the range. Gotta be honest, guys. I mean, I think it's fine. It works. Functionally, the gun is okay, but I just feel like there's a lot that they missed on this that could definitely be improved. And if you're looking at this for like your first gun or something like that, if you're really thinking about buying this for the one gun you're going to carry, I would honestly say pass. Spend the money on something else. For the almost 300 bucks, I found these around 280 online when I was researching for this video. If you're going to spend that much money, I would say just get a PSA dagger. I mean, honestly, the dagger's got Glock parts interchangeability, great customer service. I'm not saying Sar USA's customer service is bad. It might be fine. And functionally, the gun is okay. But I like the idea of being able to use Glock parts a little better. I also like the actual slide cut for an optic. And the dagger is going to come with, you know, taller sights so you can co-witness out of the factory. Threaded barrel. I mean, you get a lot more features out of a dagger than you will this for the same amount of money. A lot of times even less. I just did a series on a PSA dagger full size. All in, I think I was like $240 on that gun before I added any accessories. But just the factory pistol, $240. It's really hard to beat that. So, this is going to be one of those that I'll tell you, the gun functionally is okay. Ergonomically, it feels good in the hand. It's a comfortable pistol. But some of the features aren't exactly where I'd want them to be. If it had a better trigger and an optics cut, I'd be a little more lenient on it, but it doesn't. It does have an option to mount an optic, which is one thing, but let's be honest, guys, that's not what you want when you're mounting an optic. So I would say save your money, pass on the Sar9, check out something else. As always, guys, thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Take care of yourselves. You guys be safe. Peace.